people missed it because they're probably like, what is that guy talking about? Because they're still trying to know law of grace, law of grace, law of grace.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But if you go and look and you study this out, you look into Jewish culture, the law given for Mount Sinai was written on sapphire stone. Mm-hmm. Sapphire stone is a blue stone. Mm-hmm. The throne of grace is described as made with sapphire stone.
Yes, right.
So when Moses went up to meet with God, he was standing on grace ground, holy ground. Mm-hmm. That's why I said, take off your shoes, Moses. You're standing on grace ground. You're standing on ground that's been set apart to the Spirit of grace. That ground was sapphire stone. That's why the law that he had written on stones was actually written on sapphire stones. So it was actually trying to communicate grace. That's why it says the law was a shadow. Because there was a shadow of grace there. But we couldn't see it clearly. And if you go read Numbers 15, remember the account of the guy that got stoned because he picked up sticks? Remember that account?
No.
Go read Numbers 15. The guy that picked up sticks got stoned. He picked up sticks on the Sabbath.
On the Sabbath, okay.
It talks about the presumptuous sin and the sins of ignorance. The presumptuous sin is talking about the unforgivable sin, which is to reject the Spirit of grace.
Yes.
Right? Unforgivable just means that God can't send death away from you if you reject the Spirit of grace, because it's the Spirit of grace that conquers your death.
Right.
And so if you reject the Spirit that conquers death, He can't send death away from you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you go look in Numbers 15, after that guy gets stoned, God tells Moses to take a blue thread and stick it in the four corners of their hemline, their garment, to remind them of the law. What law? To rest in God, because it was the Sabbath that guy had violated. And so all throughout the whole Old Testament, everything God was teaching them was about resting in grace. Everything. He didn't change. Everything was about resting in grace. When He let them out of Egypt, did they have the works of the law? No. When He gave them the Feast of Unleavened Bread, did it have something to do with performing the works of the law? Did it have something to do with not mixing works and grace?
The latter.
Right. You didn't mix in yeast, because that's what man added to the bread to make the bread rise.
Exactly.
And so you weren't going to add your works to the bread. And you were going to leave it be. That was to teach you, you're not going to mix your strength with God's strength. Right?
That's right.
It's God that led you out of Egypt. You didn't help Him.
Right.
You didn't help Him out there. So the whole Old Testament is talking about this. The whole time. The whole time it's talking about grace, 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 grace. God can only talk grace. He can't talk carnality.
Yeah.
It's like we think God come talking carnal.
Yeah. That's like,